Welcome everyone to another episode of ODR. I am your host, Sam Warshi, and joining me tonight is the ODR veteran, Storm Cool.
Very happy to be here, Sam Warshi.
And in the middle of us both is our new kid on the block, Donuts. Welcome, Donuts.
Thank you, Sam Warshi.
Great, guys. We're going to be doing things a little bit different tonight. As you can see, our formidable host, Dino, is not present. Unfortunately, time ran out. We only rented in for a short time and there was renegotiations which failed, and they wanted more money basically, and we don't have any, so we lost him, so he can no longer be in our universe, unfortunately. With that said, Spider-Man is no longer in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we had a little story to tell concerning last week. Storm Cool.
So last week we tried out a new filming method, perhaps a better filming method, but
Proved not to be.
we found out after more than 1 hour of recording and more than 15 minutes of a very heated debate,
argument,
fight, that only the first 4 minutes of it were actually recorded. There were tears, there were
pacing, there was pacing.
and there was frantic searching for deleted footage. But yeah, you had to be there, so sorry.
It was going to be one of the better episodes that we've ever had.
But I'm down to experience it.
Exactly. So, which brings us to this week's podcast. And like I said, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're going to have a couple of segments. Our first segment is going to be movie news. Bjorn, would you like to take this away? Take the lead on this one.
Yes, I would send Warshi. So this week in movie news, we'd like to discuss with you all. Leave comments down below if you have any input. We'd like to discuss the new Joker film. Okay, we have the trailer going there, and basically, you know, this movie is getting so much hype. It got an 8-minute standing ovation.
True.
At the film festival that it was previewed at.
Yes.
And I think in more controversial news, the star, Mr. Phoenix himself, was presented with a question. And this interviewer from The Telegraph said to him, and I quote, "Aren't you worried that this film might perversely end up inspiring exactly the kind of people it's about, with potentially tragic results?" So, to which the response was actually, "Why would you think that?" Think that in blocky brackets, because I added that. And then Mr. Phoenix walked out of the interview. He did return shortly after, because I'm guessing there was some sort of I don't know, obligation.
Like he had to be there.
Yeah,
So
Warner Brothers PR marketer, we had a discussion with him. He said, "This is to promote the movie. It doesn't look good. We need to do this."
So, you know, what I think personally is that when you're presented with such a question, you know, this is his thing. He's behind this, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he's taken on this role, and it's separate from current DC events for now. But, you know, to be presented with such a question where you probably never had that in mind at all. You were making a piece of cinema.
Yeah.
Art. Now somebody comes along and in the very question perverts what you are busy with. You know, bringing it into the real world, saying that you are going to get people to copycat your creation in so many words. You know, and look, it's happened in the past. We can't deny that it has happened in the past. Heath Ledger's Joker was copied by about 16 people, including one that shot up the cinema. We all know about that story.
Yeah.
So, is it something we can ignore? No. But is it something that needs to be brought up in such a way? I don't think so.
There's a time and place for all those kind of things, but I feel like a public place like that just isn't.
You know,
Nice.
I must say, however, I used to always think that these things were scripted. So I believe that they would get the questions beforehand and know the answers to this, and then would be staged. So
Yes.
it's actually
He was caught off guard.
completely off guard. Yeah. Look, I understand. I agree with you. That interview was to promote the movie, and a lot of interviewers have done this. There's been actors in the past that have gotten up and just walked out. Robbie Downey Jr. was one of them.
I remember that.
Yes, and interviewers, they get that time where they're actually supposed to be speaking about the movie, promoting the movie for the audience watching.
And they just throw in one of those
They
questions.
love to do that because they've got time, one-on-one time to actually do that, and you got nowhere to run. You're right there. You have to face it. And look, I can understand why the question was asked. I don't agree where it was asked, but we have to also understand why. And that is because of what is currently happening all around the world with people taking violence. Or, you know, it's difficult to say because this has also moved into the gaming industry as well. Is violent games, is violent movies promoting all these mass murderings, mass shootings and stuff like that. And I think that we can't say that is the case because, you know, we got to look at other factors as well. And this is not to talk about you know, any rules that certain countries have and whether it is right or wrong, but you know, there should be also certain things in place to prevent people from getting things like that in the first place. You know,
Are you talking about age restrictions?
I'm talking about guns in general and how they are given over the counter, and that there isn't really stricter security measures in situations like that.
Well, okay, you do raise a valid point. You need to remember in America they do have the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms.
Yes. Many arms.
Very many.
You can buy a gun and bullets in America before you can buy alcohol or cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay? And it is a right, it is a constitutional right. And you need to remember the Constitution was written, you know, at that time when it was written, you know, you're talking about people who are farmers, plantation owners. They needed guns to protect their property. Also, slightly controversial, but you had militias which were in place to actually keep the government in line. That if the government was stepping out of line and being unconstitutional, the people could actually, you know, rise up in a very organized way and go and clear things up. Now, in this day and age, um, you know, you can't necessarily just shoot someone trespassing on your property. You can't, you can't really, I don't want to say you can't defend yourself, you can. I'm not too
But there's
clued up.
countermeasures in place.
I'm not too clued up on the laws.
There are it's almost like there are too many rules and too
Yes.
many laws in place.
So it's a double-edged sword, no pun intended. But the bottom line is for America, the United States, they are constitutionally allowed to own guns without question. And the process is much easier.
Much easier.
It's much. Look, I think I believe you wait a week for your gun license. You can go and buy the gun beforehand. It stays at the shop under lock and key, but it's yours. You own it, and once you have your license, you can go collect it. So
there's no
correct
other,
me if I'm wrong.
No other extra paperwork. It's
They do a site check.
Yeah, but,
yes.
but it's literally just a case of walking.
Yeah, but you see,
license.
but that's what I'm trying to say is that it's easy to blame something else and not fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe that there's a bigger problem behind this. And everyone is always looking towards movies and looking towards games, saying that this is too violent and that is portrayed there, and that is why it's portrayed in real life. And but just to give you guys all a bit of a background story, we're going to spoiler territory, so please fast forward if you don't want to hear. But the character in Joker, I'm going to say Andrew Curry, is he actually has an accident which causes involuntary laughter. That is why we see him laughing so much in the trailers. And also he experiences a time in his life where he is an outcast, an outsider, and basically shunned from the world, from society, and that is why he becomes crazy and he does the things that he does and acts out in that kind of way, and that is why they are taking that as reference to what's currently going on, specifically in America. But I believe personally, and that's my own personal opinion, that there can be so much more security measures in place before anything like guns and even ammunition. I mean, you could literally buy boxes and boxes of ammunition. It's not regulated. No one keeps track of these things. There's no background checks, no psychiatric checks in place for any of this. And I feel like there's a bigger problem that they need to address, and it's easy to just say it's that and it's that and it's that and not sort it out.
Without undoing their constitution, they can make the process a little bit more safe, a little bit more, instead of making you wait a week and just doing a site check, rather, maybe do a house visit, see what this person's home life is like. Why do they need a gun? Why do they want a gun? You can buy a gun and say it's for hunting, but I mean, birdshot will not kill a person, but buckshot will. So and those are also, I mean, there's actually a procedure when buying that. You have to buy ammunition in certain varieties. You can't just buy one of something, because if you say you're going hunting, you have to buy for what season it is. If it's duck season or whatever, you have to buy that type of ammunition to justify your means. But yes, what do you think, Donuts?
I think just the whole regulation process in America, it's not just America, but like the whole world, right? The whole owning firearms thing and all that kind of stuff, cool. It's your rights, you're allowed to, but there's just so, like you said, background checks and all that kind of stuff. So little of that kind of stuff in the Americas, and that's where the problem actually is. Not necessarily the fact of, hey, I can buy a gun, cool, easy. one week, got my license, here you go, give me my gun. No, that's not the problem. The problem is the fact that they don't do enough research on the person itself and all that kind of stuff.
So it should be taken seriously because it's a serious thing.
It shouldn't be just okay, I sell a gun at this price, cool, I'm making this kind of profit, cool. No, it should be about understanding that a person should only need this for defense and not to just go out and do random shootings and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I will say, however, and I'm talking to humanity in general, that it's also a responsibility that we all could take on, because the world is suffering. There are people that are suffering, getting put and ridiculed and mocked and belittled, and
that's
no human should endure any of that. To do what they do, I don't condone that at all.
No.
Not at all. However, I do believe that we can stop things also. We have the power to do so.
You have the power to be nice to somebody.
Yeah, you have the power to be a
choice.
human. Like, have feelings.
Yeah.
Just be nice to someone once in a while, instead of just judging them based on what they look like. Saw a picture the other day that said, "Don't judge a banana by its skin." To peel back this bruised banana, it's like, perfect. It's beautiful.
So yeah, we also do have that responsibility, each and every one of us. We don't know what we say or do, how it can ripple the rest of their life and to the extent that it could go. I would also like to say that we also have the responsibility to point out certain individuals which we can see as being a potential problem, and you see that on excuse me, things like social media, updating even their Facebook status. You can see dangers. You can see that before it gets to the extent that it goes. And they've actually been stopping. America, I must say, however, has actually been stopping people from doing such things, because they are actually monitoring now social media and people's, how they act in public and what they're saying and doing. Yeah, so
some heavy stuff to think about.
And that's just one of the topics.
Right. Carrying on with movie news. Suicide Squad. El Camino. Yes.
It's gonna be good.
El Camino. El Camino.
We're talking about Suicide Squad now.
We're just going to be touching on it.
Suicide Squad will be left for a later episode.
We are excited about it.
Or a full episode.
We just want to say Margot Robbie is coming back.
As Harley Quinn. So
and other big names like John Cena and Michael Rooker.
He's the Invisible Man.
So yes, big names coming to Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Big names to a big.
But we'll touch more of that in a later episode, because there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors about each of these cast members, which there are a lot of, are going to be portraying certain characters in the comics, and we'd like to get into that more, but that's gonna be a whole episode, because there's a lot in there. I will say, however, James Gunn has gone on Twitter and said, while posting the casting and everyone's name, said, don't get too attached. And as we know, the Suicide Squad, there are casualties. There's always casualties. So we'll also discuss who we think is going to die first.
Well, I knew who was going to die first. As soon as I saw his face, it was like, uh-oh. Great.
El Camino.
El Camino. The spin-off movie from the Breaking Bad series. So this is going to focus more on the Jesse Pinkman character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have the notes for that.
No problem. problem. Well, basically, the series creator, Vince Gilligan, he's going to be coming back. He will be taking the position of writer, director, and producer. Just a fun fact, you know that Jesse Pinkman's character was supposed to be killed off at the end of season 1.
Really?
Yeah, but because they liked Aaron Paul's depiction of the character,
Are you guys
they
ready to
kept
judge
him.
me?
They kept him. Did you not like him? You
No,
don't
I
like his
haven't watched
performance?
Breaking Bad at all.
Yet. This
Wait,
is one of
wait,
those
wait for the
moments
judging.
where humanity will not judge and look down on a certain individual, but look at him with equality. No, well, you got to do it. It's a good
Yeah,
series.
I will watch
Get around
it.
to it. It's a great series. But yeah, so they were going to kill him off
Eventually.
in the first season, and they decided to keep him on right to the end, and now there's a movie.
Purely
That's
because,
gonna be made.
purely because of the way the fans loved it.
No, they loved him. I mean, he was great at he's actually his chemistry with the main actor as well. It's also brilliant.
Chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry.
No, the thing about Breaking Bad was, you know, at the end of a couple of episodes or at the end of a season, you either hated Walter White and loved Jesse Pinkman,
Yeah,
or the other way around.
it's true.
And it was always something very shocking
Yeah,
that led you to that conclusion. So I believe Vince can pull this off.
I
make
believe
a
so
good
too.
movie.
He's very talented, very good.
He's
He's we're not gonna. Well, we don't know too much about it. There was a teaser that just showed now, but basically the plot stands as that he's on the run from both sides, from both good and bad. He's on the run. Something's happened.
Is this movie taking place after
After the events?
Okay,
directly after the
that
events, yeah.
that makes sense.
Great.
They're trying their best not to spoil it for me. Or anyone else.
Jonah Hill.
So the Batman. Okay.
Robert Pattinson's version.
Robert Pattinson's version
Yeah.
is it's gaining a lot of traction.
Mm.
People are becoming more accepting. They're thinking, yes, we can see this happening.
Mm.
And
I still have my doubts. I'm hoping I'm
And it's-
wrong, but we'll see.
it's Batman. We're gonna watch it anyway.
We're gonna watch it anyway.
So the
Just for the curiosity.
speculation is Jonah Hill is going to be a new villain.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not a villain we haven't seen before in the past, in the older movies, but a new portrayal of either the Riddler or Penguin.
Mm.
Now, if you're going by the series Gotham standards, I can see it. I can see him as Penguin, but not so much as Riddler.
Mm.
The Riddler is a very tall, skinny,
Yeah.
kind of spastic character, and I cannot see Jonah Hill pulling that off.
No.
I can see him as the Penguin.
It's also about personality-wise.
Mm.
He's got more of a Penguin personality than a Riddler personality.
But
What kind of personality do I
I can't say that.
but for all we know, he could actually, if he is the Riddler, he could pull it off.
Mm.
We don't know. He's a very talented actor. He's played many different roles.
Yeah, he has. I believe in that.
So, we've been surprised before by some actors. Not all of them, but some of them. And it's a testament to their acting ability. Christian Bale, the guy who played Bane, and other people that are not in DC movies as well.
Look, I also see him as the Penguin as well.
I think it's just the face.
No, I don't. It's just his.
Just add a longer nose and he's good.
He's built.
And he could probably
His height.
do a voice.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
he would be
he
able
would-
to. And
he
even
would
yeah,
have
just
voice.
like you mentioned, just the face. Even just the face, I could see him playing the Penguin.
Make it make it a little bit lighter.
Make it longer. Just a little bit
Yeah.
longer. Yeah, put a head on it.
Just-
Penguin.
Okay.
Done.
Got it.
Great. So it's going to be interesting to hear when we finally get confirmed news who we be playing.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. All right. Now we on to. Well, thanks Stormcool for that. We're
Thank
on
you,
to
guys.
our gaming news segment, and that's going to be led by Donut.
Let's go,
Alright.
guys.
Well, the first thing on my list is about the PS5's advanced power save feature.
Why
Pretty-
don't you
pretty
unwrap
interesting.
that for us?
Well, the whole thing goes about the software that will suspend the gameplay, which will be reducing all the processing power and all that kind of stuff, just to help minimize the carbon footprint
Yeah.
of
Which
the
is
PS5.
apparently huge
Apparently quite huge, yes. But
from the gaming industry.
But I mean,
Huge.
there's already there's the feature in the PS4 already, but according to Jim Ryan,
Yeah.
he says that this will reduce it by about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see. But I actually have a question I want to ask. I read that article and I saw the amount of the largeness of the footprint that they have, and is crypto mining part of the gaming industry? I'm just thinking because you're
let's not
basically
using consoles for crypto mining.
No, well, you're using graphics cards,
Yes.
and that's obviously used for gaming.
Okay.
And you're using many of them, and obviously we know that they take up a lot of
Okay.
power.
Let's put it this
So,
way.
are they classifying that? Is that still a thing?
If you take a PC, okay, take a PC, you can hook up many different graphics cards to one board, which would make it a lot more efficient than taking one console, which has got one chip in it, multiple of those consoles just to get to the same power as a PC, as one PC. So the carbon footprint of a console would be a lot bigger. If you think about it. I mean, let's put it this way. 6 graphics cards in one mining rig. Okay? One motherboard. So it's one PC.
But utilizing a much larger power supply.
True. Or two.
Giving much more power to the
Or two
cards.
power supplies. However, what's the power supply of a console, let's say? In terms of wattage?
300 watt.
No,
About
it's-
300 watts.
yeah,
Okay.
I think.
So 300 watt for one card. Alright, you've got 6 cards, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Right? It's roughly the same if you think about it. However, it's still a little bit more. Because you're going to have to be
I
using
disagree
separate
with that.
consoles.
Please
'Cause
let
you're
us know in the
Because you're going to have to be
comments.
using
Miners.
separate consoles.
Well, I
You can't use multiple chips on one board.
I believe
for a
that
console.
that a PC utilizing much more graphics cards, utilizing a much larger power supply, is going to use much more power than what the console is
you
going
see-
to.
Then why is it that we never saw the consoles being used for Bitcoin mining in the farms? And it was always these
They're not
rigs.
powerful enough.
Yeah, which is the
Um,
problem.
Also, if I can interject though, certain currencies, cryptocurrencies, are more power dependent.
hungry,
Yes. So,
for instance, Bitcoin itself.
and it became a trend in the mining community that cards were being undervolted to use less power, not to save the environment or anything, but to save electricity costs, while still getting a decent profitability out of your mining rig.
And it's also a lot easier to do that on an actual mining rig than it is on a console.
There are programs like MSI Afterburner, which you can use.
Which is a default thing that comes with MSI cards
Yes.
anyway.
And it doesn't just work on MSI cards, it works on any cards. So, yeah, look, the whole thing of the voltage being used, it's debatable.
Yeah, look, I welcome it. If anything is going to utilize less power, which, like you said, is going to, at the end of the day, mean I'm paying less money for electricity bills, then why not?
Well,
It's also going to save the hardware.
It's also true. But
And
the
I'll
thing
touch on
is,
that now as well.
like in the States, for example, certain cities were actually raising their tariffs. If they knew you were mining cryptos, then you got a bigger tariff or a higher tariff than your neighbor who was not. So
Well, this has been a great episode of crypto tips and tricks from Storm Cool.
Trips and ticks. But one of the things that's actually impressive when they talk about the efficient technologies that's going to be used for the power saving feature is power scaling and also power saving modes. So there will obviously be different modes. The power scaling is going to be quite interesting. So depending on how demanding your machine will actually be in terms of when it's the gaming or when it's
That'd be great.
movies or anything.
That'd be awesome.
It will just push out the power that it actually needs. So I think that's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
So
and I must say
that
the power save feature on the PS4 currently, as I do own one, is awesome. I enjoy it. I love it. You know, your games are always updated if you've got that feature enabled. You can charge your devices. The USB still have power if it's in safe mode, and you're utilizing less power. Yeah, I think if they're going to make it better than what it is, then why not?
Right. Google Play Pass. $5 a month, no ads, no in-app purchases.
but what games are they offering?
So they haven't come out to say exactly what games. You're going to be able to play your older arcade games on it, and also there's going to be multiple games that they said that are going to. So we all know that when you're playing games on your phone, there are timed. There's some games that are like timed play, and that you could literally. You have to buy or pay more to play more, or you have to wait for a certain amount of time before you can continue playing. And then
like in Candy Crush, when you run out of lives.
Exactly, and that's a good point. And then also there is certain sections or levels of certain games that you cannot obtain unless you pay for. And then also what we know that comes with every game is ads. We all love those ads.
But what the problem with that is, one of my friends actually made this point. He says, if I don't want ads, I just switch my Wi-Fi off on my phone.
Yeah,
It works.
It does.
work.
It does.
So why pay $5 a month when you can literally just press a button on your phone?
So this is actually interesting because Google Play released this before Apple released their gaming service.
Even though Apple's gaming service was announced
Before Google Play. So this was like, we're waiting for you to do this, and then we're gonna do it straight away before you. And well, the difference though is still that Apple actually has developers that are going to be making games specifically for their Apple service, where Google Play does not have that yet. However, we all know that with the Play Store, there's less restrictions involved than what there is on the Apple Store. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Look, I have my views on services, streaming services, and gaming services, and
services in general.
Services in general. The idea behind it is great. If you think about it, like for instance, Xbox Game Pass, the amount of content, the amount of games that you have available to you for a small amount of fee, not even the fee of what you actually pay for a full game, on a monthly basis, it sounds great. But when you add all of them together and the amount of developers and companies that are coming out with these streaming services, I mean, this is all going off on one bank account. Your budget is just getting smaller and smaller. It's
For those of us that actually have a budget, some of us don't have budget at all.
But can I interject real quick? Please. Something that's been bothering me for a while, and I love it, I'm not complaining, but Epic Games has been giving away amazing titles for free for a couple of weeks, a couple of months now. They just recently gave away 6 Batman games.
6 Batman games, yeah.
Okay, now
I'll be honest, I'm not complaining because I still want to play the Lego ones. So
yeah, no,
Exactly.
I'm not complaining, but how? Who is? Nothing is free. Who is paying for this?
Yeah,
that is actually a very good question
Because-
I don't have an answer.
Because all of those games in the Epic Store, I mean, you're looking at 30 euros, 30 pounds, I'm not sure.
Even dollars.
Okay, now I'm getting 3 games which I already bought years ago
On Steam.
on Steam. I'm getting them for free now. How are they doing it, guys?
Look, I think that if anyone can, Epic Games can, because they've got a huge budget, they've got a lot of cash, they can dish it out.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember that in order for you to get these free games, you need to download their launcher, make use of their launcher. So they're looking at the end game.
Even with Satisfactory as well, it's like, even if you, and I'm not promoting this, even if you've got a cracked version, you would still have to actually launch the Epic Games launcher to launch the game.
Yeah. So I think that they're opening the doors for potential customers, and they're looking at the end of this and saying that I still think that they're paying for it. I don't think that they're just allowing the games to be for free. I do believe that they must be paying for that.
They must have some kind of bulk license deal or something that they are getting it insanely cheap, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm touching on Epic though. I mean, what that reminds me of is the fact that when Borderlands 3 was announced, okay, and now I'm going off of topics that we
It's fine.
that we wanted to talk about. The problem with this is that everyone was so hyped up for Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Even myself, I'm still hyped up for it. When it releases on Steam, because Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, Borderlands pre-sequel, all Steam. And now all of a sudden they're like, let's launch this on Epic, and then everyone's there like,
yeah, they're doing that. I mean, that's what currently DC and Marvel's doing.
I saw somewhere about why the CEO chose to use Epic, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was.
Well, it might be the fact that Steam takes 30% of sales.
That's what it was.
And Epic is 15%, which is very enticing for a business owner.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, it's just
It's always about money.
Look, I will say
rip headphone users, and I don't even have headphones.
I will say that I feel the same way as you do, Dennis, because look, I've got multiple gaming platforms and I game on them all. I have a favorite, and for the PC Master Race out there, it's PS4. But I enjoy having all my titles on one platform.
Yeah.
You understand? Because especially because I like digital content, I love digital content. I know a lot of people have sentimental value when it comes to hard copies. I can understand that. I can relate.
Still got
For special editions, yes.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I can relate in those situations.
I still prefer like disc. I want a disc.
But for me, digital content, for me personally, and especially, it also depends on your line and what kind of line you have and things like that. But for me, it suits me perfectly because if I want a game, I don't need to go dust it off somewhere or go find it in my cupboard. I just search it, type it
Or
in,
have a
and
scratch
download it.
disk or
And for me, I had to invest a lot of money into one platform to be able to achieve this. I have had situations, for instance, like Call of Duties, most of my Call of Duties, where I have a version that I bought on PC and then I have a version that I bought on PS4. Then also Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, on PC and then PS4. And then you're spending time advancing in that career, and then you go on another platform, and then
you realize you're behind in this one, or
Yes.
you're too far forward.
especially when it comes to
one.
season passes and
I got one question.
yeah.
How did we get to here from me?
but now it's still coming back to that it's becoming so diverse, and there's so many of them now that eventually you're gonna start losing an audience. You're gonna start losing them because not everyone is gonna be able to do all these streaming services. And it was picked up by one, and now everyone is doing it. Everyone is thinking to themselves, you know what, we basically want to do a contract.
Yeah.
It's a contract that they're doing. Why wait for you to buy something when you can be paying us monthly for it? And then also I can understand the business strategy of it, because if you've got a certain amount of people paying a certain amount of money every single month, and you know that revenue is coming in, you can also budget accordingly and start other investments and things like that, other projects and that. You've got the capital to do so because you know what's coming in.
From business point of view,
Yes.
it makes sense.
Yes, from business point of view. But for us as the fans,
We the people.
yeah.
We are the disappointed ones.
Look,
9 times out of 10.
let's come back to
We'll get to this.
let's come to go back to Google Play. So, will you get it? No.
No.
I also
Yeah.
don't think that it's enticing enough to do so.
Discord no shows.
I will take advantage of the free trial.
The 10-day, just to see how it works.
I'll see
And
what it's like.
how many new accounts will you be making after each month?
I have 3.
I was making a joke, but
Look, I know that there's a lot of hardcore gaming fans out there on phone platforms, and for them it's enticing enough, and I don't stand in your way. For me personally, I think that Apple's going to be the better choice in this.
we'll see once they release it.
We'll see. I mean, if you're having developers with exclusive content, exclusive games,
That is also true.
you're never going to get on the
And
Android.
we don't know what the price is yet, do we?
No.
So we'll see.
Great.
Right, Nintendo Switch Lite.
I like it.
It's smaller, it's cheaper, its controls don't come off, and it can't output to TV.
Yeah, so they've been trying to hack this thing really and mod it out.
Well,
to
I can give you one reason why it's not going to work, even if
Go
they
for
try
it.
and hack it or mod it. It doesn't have the hardware to actually output to TV.
okay.
It doesn't have the hardware on the
Physically.
physically. It doesn't have it on the board itself. It needs a semiconductor
Oh,
to interrupt the video to output it to TV.
And if
The
we,
board doesn't have it.
If we add the semiconductor.
Where are you going to attach it to? It's not the same board. The semiconductor on the original one, attached in a specific way, in a specific circuit, how are you going to attach it onto there? And
Some clever person will.
look,
some idiot will pay money for this, how many times, break it how many times, eventually come right with it, make a YouTube video saying, look at this easy hack I did. Breaks open another switch, and it's like, you're just over there, and then some people at home, they're just like, oh, my soldering skills are pretty good. Yeah, it's not going to work very well.
look, I will be honest with you. I understand why they created this Nintendo Switch Lite, and for its purpose, it doesn't need to be.
It says it in the name, it's lighter.
It doesn't. I don't see the need for an output to screen. It's a device that's supposed to be handheld on the go.
Okay,
There's no need for it to
here's the
attach
thing.
to
It is still essentially a console.
Yes.
And consoles throughout how many years? When did the first console come out? Way back when. Was always outputted onto TV. Alright? This may be handheld, alright, but it still makes sense to be able to project it to TV. Alright? But
then
at the same time,
just playing the
but at the
Switch.
same time, this is literally just smaller, more compact, it's lighter, it's got a smaller battery, smaller screen.
You can't detach two
More-
Joy-Cons, which I still again
It's-
don't see
it's-
the need for it.
Look,
I
it's
don't
still
see
it's alright. I mean, this appeals to a very specific
It's
market.
the
in
it's
sense
the
that got us
Nintendo Switch for the person
on the go
who likes to play his own game. You know,
without
because
the need
the
to
Switch
project it.
the Switch originally they had that whole marketing campaign of you give one Joy-Con to your friend
Yeah.
and then you have a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
This guy is a loner who he just buys.
Shame, man.
I'm not a learner.
Going back to the Joker topic. Listen.
Okay, so the average loner who does not want to play multiplayer games. Well, I mean,
On the TV with other people in
it
specific.
could play multiplayer games over the internet, probably yes.
It's
But not,
it can.
It's not one of those LAN party type consoles.
But no, look,
Put it that
it
way.
doesn't even have a kickstand. So there's no kickstand like the original.
it is
Nintendo.
for hands.
It's for
nothing
your
else.
hands, and it can play multiplayer. You can play between friends.
It's
Even in the same
discrimination against people
facility.
who don't have hands.
So yeah, look, guys. To be honest with you, it's cheaper. I believe. I really firmly believe
How
that
many-
the original Nintendo Switch is way out.
It's
It is
been
extremely
out for how
overpriced.
many years now?
What, the Nintendo Switch?
3 years now?
2-3
I'd
years.
say 2 years, yes.
And it's still the same price here at least.
Yes,
Yeah.
South Africa,
As
yeah.
as it
Oh,
when it
one
was
joy.
released.
It's way expensive. It's too expensive for me. Now, this is something that is actually affordable, and I didn't in this specific console, especially with these type of games, I didn't see the need to go play in front of a TV,
The one thing
put a
that-
kickstand out.
The one thing that I'm actually quite excited for with the Switch Lite is the fact that when they announced the Switch Lite, I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was with the actual announcement, but they announced that Overwatch will be coming to Switch.
Oh yeah, you're a big Overwatch
And that,
fan.
I'm a huge Overwatch fan.
Now you can play it on the go.
Yeah, that's
Not
if I want
attached
to
to
actually
the
fork out the
screen.
money for this thing.
But then you would have to have another career, wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't, I don't think you can link your
Yeah.
profiles.
So
Unfortunate,
same
so back to level
predicament.
1.
Alright.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Now,
On to more interesting
Warner
news.
Brothers have hinted twice in 2 days about a new Batman game.
We think it's a new. It
We
has
hope
to be.
we hope
It has to be.
we hope it's a new Batman game.
It's
We'll
coming
find-
from the developers, so it
Yeah,
must-
from Warner Brothers Gaming Montreal, and they hinted the video which had a whole bunch of symbols, with the caption "Capture the Night."
Mm.
So night spelled with a K.
Yeah, it was done during the 80th anniversary of Batman in celebration of his time with us on this earth. There were many cities that took place in
Yes,
this.
yes,
They
they were.
displayed the bat symbol on a building, like you see in the background behind us. And then the specific Warner Brothers one, they tweeted this. And in the tweets, these symbols, while the light was shining, the bat symbol, these images appeared very quickly.
Yeah,
And you'll break that down.
Yeah, the two symbols that stood out the most for me was the Court of the Owls, who are the oldest and, in my opinion, richest families in Gotham City. They've formed this little cult and they've been shaping Gotham to their own image for years and years now.
Mm.
The other one, which has got this whole demonic, evil-looking head on Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite interesting to see. Hopefully this is going to be quite a good game.
Which begs the question, is it going to be
How big
Good.
is this game?
is it going to be good?
Well, I mean, coming from those developers, hey, who knows?
Well, we know that Rocksteady's was famous and critically was great. However, the last installment, which was Warner Brothers Montreal, wasn't perceived as well. And although I had a great time with the game, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Epic.
I think I think personally, if they go with that storyline, I think they're going to.
The thing is, if you look at all those symbols, I mean, how many symbols were there? There was something like six.
Yeah, I think
six symbols or more. Okay, each one meaning something different. There is so much potential out there for a story. I mean, I feel like it's going to be amazing. Hopefully, open world. Open world is always a plus in my books. I love open world. Who doesn't like jumping from building to building, gliding?
Yeah, I
enjoy
enjoy
the
it.
makeshift like grappling hook. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. We'll find out. We don't know how much about it, but hopefully we'll find out more at State of Play.
Thank you. Which takes place today. We're a little bit.
Well,
we were hoping.
We're a bit behind,
Yeah.
so for us it will be 10 p.m. local time.
We were hoping that before this podcast, before the recording of this podcast, we would have watched the State of Play because
At the time of us talking about it, it will be in about 15 minutes. We'll see.
Last of Us 2 is going to be making a debut. We haven't really received. We had one video that showed off a little bit of gameplay as well. There was two videos. There was a teaser and there was a video that also showed off some gameplay.
Here's the thing. Last of Us 2 was announced in 2016. Alright.
We've not heard anything.
Well, much. And the last news that we heard about it was came with the teaser trailer back in 2018 at E3. So, and we haven't heard anything from Sony this year about Last of Us. So hopefully towards the end of this year, December, November time, or early 2020, we'll see something.
No, so there's rumors that State of Play is going to have some kind of something that we have not seen yet.
I've got high hopes for State of Play.
So I believe it's going to be there.
I really think they are going to announce something big that everyone's been looking forward to for a long time. So whether it's Batman, whether it's Last of Us 2, whether it's something we've never even heard of before, or all of the above, we don't know. We'll see.
They've also rumored a release date for Last of Us 2, which is...
They have. There was a listing on a Swiss website, Swiss retailer, which had an image of a collector's edition, I think it was, for...
They always get things out.
Right? So it's the Swiss.
So the retailers.
So yeah, it was a photo of the box of the Last of Us, and it said 28th of Feb next year.
I'm looking forward.
February sounds right though.
And it's a Friday. Sony, you got a pattern.
It's after payday.
It's just after payday.
Yeah, it's good for us.
It's alright. No price though. That's the problem. Whether it's after payday or not, it's still going to be expensive. And Fortnite has decided to,
in honor of our Dark Knight.
in honor of our Dark Knight, yes, for the 80th anniversary, to do a crossover event. And
which they're good at. I must say that Fortnite's been doing
Fortnite
it well.
has been doing it well. The only problem I have with Fortnite is the fact that it's not it doesn't feel like Fortnite anymore. Fortnite to me was none of these massive events, no robots hitting giant monsters that appeared out of literally nowhere. I mean, it's just. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. This looks pretty cool actually. Tilted Towers is now Gotham City. You can. I still need to install the update. Still thinking about it anyway. You get to play as Batman. You get to
make use of some gadgets.
Make use of some gadgets, yes. Batarang, little grappling hook.
Looks good, I must
say.
say.
It looks absolutely amazing. And what I like is that Catwoman over here is a skin that you can possibly get as well, along with a. Now they've introduced the new dual wield pickaxes, and coming with the skin, it's dual grappling hooks, which is pretty cool. There's also a backpack, which is like cat themed and all that kind of stuff. There's a glider, there's sprays, there's a profile live for I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it looks
So
really, really cool.
you can
actually.
literally grapple onto something
Anything.
and then you can actually
Glide.
glide
Yeah.
with the cape.
It
Batman's
looks,
cape.
it
Looks
looks
That
amazing.
sounds pretty
Very cool.
epic.
Well, if you guys are keen on playing it and you're looking forward to that, it's
I won't be surprised
only,
if this Batman jumps at you right now.
it's only till October the
Awesome event. Well,
Awesome, yeah,
awesome operation active at the moment. Dark Divide.
Yes.
Quite amazing. Superhero versus supervillain theme. Excuse my notes. Came out on PS4 first.
Yes, 24th of September.
Pretty interesting.
23rd.
23rd, that was yesterday for us.
23rd of September.
It's very interesting. Also includes the final chapter for the Ether storyline for
Yes.
zombies.
Yeah, zombies.
Pretty
Yeah.
awesome. And it will come out on PC and Xbox One on the 30th.
So I've played this. I have it on PS4, and I must say I'm really enjoying it. We had a discussion earlier on concerning whether or not this remains a Black Ops 4 game, or is it not just Fortnite 2?
It's this operation is legit just Fortnite 2. Fortnite
So-
version 2. First person mode, no building, but whatever.
I agree to an extent. It still feels like Black Ops 4, but it
I
looks
feel like
they're going
this
into
operation is it's a really good break, if I can put it that way, because the feedback from the community about Black Ops 4 compared to previous Black Ops games has not been really great. So introducing this as a cool little listen, let's just hype them up a little bit more, should be alright. I think it's a really good idea.
Look, like I say again, it still feels like Call of Duty, and I haven't played much of it to see all the loony bits. I've always referred to Fortnite like that. Fortnite gets very loony at times.
Fortnite is just a meme in general.
I felt that like Black Ops 4 was like the real life simulated shooter, and and with these kind of things that are happening now, especially with this specific operation that they've introduced, they're making it fun and funny and cartoony and not so much realistic. And
I'm just one of those.
I'm welcoming it.
Skins. I mean,
Yeah, true.
I love the look of these skins. I mean, it just looks so amazing.
Yeah, it does look good, and the skins actually they actually change. So like certain skins will actually, like for instance, helmets can close, and for instance your arms, yeah, your arms can go on fire, and yeah, so that's quite cool. And also a big thing, they introduced tanks now to the Battle Royale feature. So I'm looking forward to that. Look, I must say, Black Ops in general, all about Black Ops, I enjoy every single mode. I enjoy zombies, I enjoy multiplayer, and it's specifically.
Okay, I just want to touch on
I
one
enjoy
more
Battle
thing.
Royale.
When I think about feedback in terms of Black Ops 4, I've always felt Call of Duty as a whole has always been a console game. I mean, people can argue with me on that one.
Please
So-
sound off in the
please-
comments below.
But the fact is that Black Ops 4 on PC is obviously not as big in South Africa. It's not as big as Black Ops 4 on console in South Africa. I mean, you can find matches on console almost like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is on Blackout. Is it like the
It
same?
is like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, the thing is on PC, I remember when I first downloaded it, and this was in November.
But I won't say all the modes, eh? So there are
Yeah,
certain
okay.
modes that you will never get into.
It will
again.
mostly be hardcore modes, which are almost
Yeah.
instant here.
Yes.
So the thing is, I mean, back when I downloaded the game in November last year, after I got it on Black Friday, I was really struggling to find a Blackout match.
Oh really?
I would sit there, well, not sit there, obviously, I would let it run in the background, but I would wait almost like half an hour for a match.
But yeah, it's like
And that's
this
one
way.
match.
This is limited to our region. This is limited to South Africa.
Mm.
I will say that I play quite often. I play like basically
I
almost
would,
second.
I would
second night.
absolutely love it if I could find matches more regularly and easier.
So a friend of mine recently moved from South Africa to Holland, and he's now European and taking part in the European service. And he actually invited me on into his party, and we found games insanely more quicker than what we did here. So the audience is
just
there,
so-
maybe not
It's just
so
so
much
much
here.
more active.
Yeah.
I think the gaming community in terms of Call of Duty that side is so much more active than we on console.
So much more, yeah. On
We on
console.
console.
Yeah. So look, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, Battle Royale now introduced tanks. They've always had vehicles, but now with tanks, I think it's going to make things very interesting. You can actually throw down a flare and bring in certain vehicles. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And you mentioned something about double jumping as well.
Yes, yeah. So there's a double jump. It makes you hover a little bit.
Okay.
It's not an official jetpack.
I was just going to say Black Ops 3, hello? Trying to
So-
copy some things there.
Look, they've got their contraband. They call it contraband, which is like a season pass, and that is what you level up for, which you don't have to pay for because you've obviously bought the game. And any XP earned goes towards that, which gives you unlockables.
That's
And
pretty
I
cool,
went
actually.
through it. I went through it this morning, and there's some fun stuff
I
there.
mean, why would you want to pay? What is the battle pass in some games usually go for nowadays? I mean,
Look,
Dota 2's compendium was something like 140 something rand.
Yeah, I think that the Apex one that I bought was 130.
Alright, so I mean, think about it. A season would usually last how long? Probably like 2-3 months
Yeah,
on
this
the game.
Yeah, 2 months.
So imagine paying what $900 on a game and still needing to fork that out every 3-4 months.
yeah.
2-3-4 months.
True.
Nah. So thank goodness they gave that to us for
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Great, yeah. Looking forward to looking forward to playing more of it.
So what are you playing nowadays?
I'm playing actually. Well, I was playing it quite a while back, and like I mentioned, I'm playing on multiple platforms. So I was playing this first on PC, and that is Daisy. When it was still, I got it when it was first initially released, and I enjoyed it then. But then I got myself a PS4 and started putting more money into that, and getting games on digital games. And then it got recently released on PS4, Daisy the standalone. And I thought to myself, I really had a great time with this, and finally it's on a platform that I enjoy spending a lot of time on, so let me do it, and PS4, and let me do it, and I went ahead and forked out the money, and it was a lot, I'm not gonna lie.
How much was it?
800 rand. 800 rand, but I must say that, okay, so I've loved survival games, and the lure for it is it's completely different to other games that I play. I enjoy FPS, first person shooters, a lot, and I enjoy fast paced games, quick games. This is nothing like that. It's in third person. You can go into first person if you so like, and also when you're aiming down sights and such. But the game itself is slow paced, completely slow paced. So you're not running into battle because then you'll die and lose everything. So it's all about surviving, it's all about stealth, it's all about scavenging, and those things I'm really enjoying. I've enjoyed Daisy's environment. I think they did an extremely good job at it. I just last night was playing with a friend of mine, and we went into a town where a plane collided with a building. It was done. It's done very, very well, and
It was part of the game, or somebody playing did it?
No, it's part of the game. So when you're running into that in that area,
No,
it's not that.
No.
And this is obviously a zombie outbreak. This is based on zombie apocalypse. And so you're running into.
Not that kind of controversial
I'm not going into that. I'm ignoring that. Editing that out. So you're going into a city and you're seeing this building that's completely demolished, and then half the planes on the floor. And it looks so good because you realize that the world as it was doesn't exist anymore.
Something that was there is no longer there.
Some things.
So,
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get such backlash from
specifically, please
edit this out.
please sound off in the comments below and make sure that you tag Stormcool. No one else. So,
assuming that this was even in the video at the end. Assuming that we're even recording.
so yes, please, it doesn't repeat itself.
I heard a beep at 5 minutes in, and I didn't want to mention it because we were so.
It's recording. It's recording.
Are you sure that was the alarm system?
Thank goodness for that. Okay.
So I've gotten back into that and I'm enjoying it. I must say that getting guns in the game doesn't mean anything, because you pick up a gun and you're like, wow, this gun looks so cool.
No,
I actually have an opportunity to survive. I can defend myself. No, you gotta find bullets. You gotta find magazines.
Did you have to craft
So-
bullets? I can't remember.
No, well, I haven't got an S. I haven't got
I
that
haven't-
far.
I haven't-
I can't say yes or no on that. But we had an interesting battle last night. We found handguns, myself and my friend, and we found bullets for the handgun, because that's like finding guns is actually relatively easy.
Like, did you find one bullet?
No,
each?
I
This is
found
zombie
a
apocalypse,
box.
so-
I found a box, and I had 18 rounds, and I shared it between us. So it was 9 bullets. We didn't have a magazine for the handgun, so we could only load a bullet at a time, and it takes a while. It takes some time to load. So we ran into a guy who had a rifle and a magazine and bullets. So yes, we were 2. We outnumbered him, but we shot 1 bullet, we missed, and that was it. And he just went off at us,
Game over.
and we lost, and we had to start again. But some people find that frustrating. I don't. I'm really enjoying that game. I'm having a lot of fun.
Frustrating. I probably would have punched a hole through my monitor. Anyway.
So that's what I'm playing at the moment now,
Okay.
and
Nice.
I am actually taking a break from Nier Automata. Been playing that for a little
I
while.
almost thought you were going to say break from gambling, in which case.
But today I actually started up a brand new campaign on Homeworld Remastered.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
okay.
Probably one of the first
Lost from the past there.
one of the first games I ever played, and probably
Sure.
the game that made me a gamer.
Really?
So
Is that nostalgia coming back? Is those feelings?
a little bit,
Yeah.
look, we grew up with the PlayStation 1, but then it was me, little me, watching my brother play something.
Were you the one with the disconnected controller as player 2?
No,
Which one were you?
I was the one that was connected one. I'm gonna say this doesn't make me a bad dad, because I have 2 daughters. One is playing with me. So we are 2 players playing. My second daughter has a disconnected controller.
no, we have
She's gonna
two
watch this when
remotes.
she's older, you know?
And we used to. I would play Tekken. We would play Tekken against each other.
Awesome.
Tekken
One of the
3
very
first ones.
specifically. And then
Which character? Can you say which character you enjoyed? I enjoyed King. I
I loved King,
And Mitsumitsu.
Gunjack,
Gunjack was really amazing.
Paul. I enjoyed that flaming punch move of his. But then then I was just sort of playing games or watching my brother play, but it wasn't really,
At that stage, you were more of a button mashing thing,
Yes.
not actually understanding.
your older brother figures out the combos that can take you out,
In 2
and you
moves.
sit there screaming because
Throws
he
the controller.
because
It's a
he never
screen.
lets you win.
Takes the screen.
And it was a
I did that.
big old box TV.
Ow.
So-
Dong.
No, that never happened. But then, I think Christmas 2002,
Okay.
I got myself Homeworld.
Are we getting tissues? Let's be. Is
No,
this
no,
okay,
but
alright.
you know what they
I,
are.
I love your tears. I need something to drink.
That's also story. Continue.
No, definitely made me a fan of the strategy genre.
Okay.
And I have to say though, that game took me, the first time I played it, it took me a month to finish. The remastered version is nerfed severely because when it got remastered a couple of years back, I think it was a year or two ago, I bought it for the nostalgia, and despite remembering how to play from 16 whatever years ago, it was incredibly easy. I finished it in a week. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
So, but what I'm saying is there were these huge space battles that I remember thinking, you know, in 2002, I am not going to get through this. I need to restart the level again and again. And then on the remastered version, it's just like, you know, okay, that was way too easy. I'm moving on to the next level already. So,
yeah, that. If I can say to be something Stone Cool, it's like with older games being ported now to newer, like for instance, newer consoles and PCs and such. There's a gaming sale now currently on PlayStation called the Retro Sale, and a lot of those older games like Dig Dug and Pac-Man and Castlevania, and all of them, have actually imported to the PlayStation. Well, they were before, but now they're on sale on a discount, and I actually bought a couple of them. And those games, not remastered, taking it, porting it, those games are still incredibly difficult. Like a lot of them come with save states. And I think to myself, if I didn't have save states, how would I now finish them, you know? So,
because look, Homeworld was that type of game that if you messed up, it could potentially mean restarting. Maybe just that specific level, maybe having to go back a level to do something differently. But I mean, there were no cheats for that game. There was no infinite money type of thing. So you figured it out and you got through it, and that was it. It wasn't easy. We need more games like that. No more of this instant gratification.
Okay, actually have to grind out your happiness.
Destiny.
No, please.
Destiny.
Please, can we not talk about Destiny, especially
Yes,
Destiny 2? Oh my word. Yeah, I've been really enjoying the World of Warframe lately. I mean, not lately, I mean for the past year. I started it in August last year. Very quickly got up to 1,500 hours. I basically no-life that game, but it's because I enjoyed the grinding aspect of it. But there are so many different mission types, but there are only those mission types, and it repeats themselves across the whole star map. But it's really cool because drop rates on so many things. I mean, RNG is just not your friend sometimes, all the time. In my case, a lot. It's just really fun, and
if I may ask something, look, I've not played Warframe as of yet. I know that you did try and get me into it.
it's also available on PS4. I'm just saying.
I know it is. I know. Which I'm really considering. It's not cross-platform, eh?
Not yet.
Okay.
DE, hurry up.
Is there talks of it being cross-platform?
There is talks about. First of all, they were talking about at TennoCon, which is Warframe's convention.
Okay.
They were talking about cross-save. So what that is
your account can transfer.
Yes.
Okay.
Which would be quite amazing, especially.
They should do that with all games. Guys, they should do that with all games. Can I tell you why? I have certain friends. On certain platforms, and some of them they will not go out and buy a PS4 or a PC for that matter. And I'm willing to actually buy the game twice I'm willing to buy a game twice.
It's good
Bearing in
enough.
mind it's good enough, and majority of my friends on either platform are playing. I'm willing to do that. So why not keep my account,
The same.
my
yeah,
reputation,
people-
my career,
yeah,
everything, just
exactly.
be able to,
Yeah.
like Fortnite
Okay.
does. I mean, Fortnite does that quite well.
That does make sense.
And
I
also
suppose, yeah.
Dauntless, and yeah, so
I still need to play Dauntless.
Dauntless is
I'm
good.
s-
I'm enjoying Dauntless. It's
It's,
also
it's, just,
grinding
it's,
it.
it's just a free Monster Hunter out here,
Yeah. Look,
which is also a game I want to get.
I'm enjoying it. It's free. You can there is season passes that you can pay for, but you don't need to. And it's simpler. It's a monster world, but much simpler.
I hear it's a lot more cartoony as well.
It is a bit
that
more.
way.
It's Fortnite graphics, so it's like that. But still, I enjoy the boss battles. Well, it is only boss battles. It's not like you're facing other enemies. You're facing bosses, but I enjoy that it takes, each one is, they're diverse in their abilities and also the way that you can approach them and how you can kill them, and certain weapons can kill them and certain armor is good
So
against them.
it's just
So
like resistance. and
yeah,
all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that's what's also Warframe does the same thing as well.
Okay.
Like you got your infested enemies, and they are just obviously just flesh and bone. That's it. Fire, done, sorted,
Okay.
almost. Then run around the run. Hans gets a Flammenwerfer. Yeah, run around with an Ignis, and then you sort it. Then you get your Corpus. They're more tech oriented, and they've got shields. So obviously your magnetic or your electric damage, or that burst down the shields a lot quicker. Then you got your Grineer, and they're like these really grunt armored type guys, and they're all speaking a language you can't understand. And for them, it's like you need radiation damage or corrosion damage, and it's amazing. The amount of weapons, there are so many weapons. There's a weapon to suit your playstyle. Doesn't matter what you like to do, whether you like to play a meme where you literally just have a whip and you just spin around the whole time. I mean, there's that. There's snipers in the game. There are shotguns, rifles. There's bows.
So there's a lot for everyone.
There's something for everyone.
I want to post something.
I just want to say my personal favorite is a gun blade.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. It
Well,
sounds.
it's a melee weapon,
Yeah.
but it's a shotgun.
So you stab someone and
No, not even stab. You get these for melee weapons. You get different stance mods, alright, and it also depends on how your attacking style is. For the gunblade specifically, there's this one called bullet dance, and that basically means every time you think you would slash, it's shooting. That's it,
okay.
and it one shots anything, or
Sure.
just about anything else.
Tell me, just quickly, and then we're going to have to move on to our last segment.
Sure.
We're pressed for time. But is it a game that you need to pay to enjoy?
No.
Or you can play it absolutely free and
You
still have
can
a lot
you
of fun?
can make it all the way up to Mastery rank 27 without spending a cent in the game. And
Okay.
Mastery 27 at the moment is the level cap.
That's something I appreciate from the
And
developer.
but that's what's so amazing about DE, or Digital Extremes. They are so community driven. They
Yeah.
listen to their
That's good.
community.
I like that too.
They have streams very regularly. They always they read almost all the stuff that they get in terms of feedback and all that kind of stuff. They are constantly on forums, constantly doing hot fixes and bug fixes and all that kind of stuff. So it's I feel like Digital Extremes went out of their way and they are doing it right.
Great.
Especially with the new update that's coming out in December, hopefully December.
Well, thanks, Donis, for that. I appreciate that. And we're on to our last segment. We're going to cut it a bit short, so we wanted to. It's called Casual Convo, and we just discuss some random conversations, have some random conversations based on topics that we choose ourselves. All three of us had one, but I think we're going to hand it over to Stormcore. The reason why and that's what we didn't actually give the real reason. Dino is not present tonight because he is currently at Comic Con 2019 South Africa. And Africa, in South Africa. And he's got a 4-day pass which involves today, so he's there. But Stormcool, I know that you attended the one day and you saw a certain celebrity. Please. let us
Okay,
know.
so I had the Saturday pass, and I had such an amazing time. I really appreciate what Comic-Con has done, renting out the entire convention center. You know, there was something for everybody there. I got my picture taken on the friend's couch.
No,
really?
The actual couch.
Was there coffee stains?
No.
Oh.
But I will say it's
So
not.
there was no coffee in
It's
those
not
nights.
the couch. It's not the couch from the coffee shop. It's the one from the intro.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So the water stains it.
Um,
It's water.
I met William Shatner,
Yes.
Captain Kirk.
Oh man.
Had my picture taken with him.
Oh.
That was
That must have been awesome.
probably the most epic 4 seconds of my life.
Okay. So yes, I wanted to touch on that because when you took the photo and we saw it, okay. There's a couple of questions I want to ask. I hope I can ask them. Can you touch him?
Look, you.
Did you want to?
No, but can you touch him? Because I saw no one's touching him.
Okay,
Everyone's standing.
So you, in the photo, like if you wanted to, you could put your hand on his shoulder or something. But he did not like shaking hands. He did not shake hands.
Okay. Okay. Next question. Did someone give you rules before taking the photo?
No.
Okay, so there wasn't someone saying, please, Mr. Shackland doesn't want to shake anyone's hands, doesn't like
Nothing
people
like that.
whispering in his ear.
I actually saw him through the curtain. Well, okay, they parted the curtains while I was quite far back in the line.
Awesome.
And I was like, there he is, I see him! And this other lady who was cosplaying as Poison Ivy looked at me and said, see him with your eyes. But I mean, I was excited. I mean, there's Captain Kirk.
Yes.
You know,
it's
and
childhood.
And so we got to the front of the line fairly quickly. And it's literally because they call you in. They tell you you stand here,
Like you said,
and they take the picture and they move you up.
So did you greet him?
I said hello. It's very nice to meet you.
And he said,
my
logbook, please.
He said, I'm happy to meet you too. No eye contact though, sadly. But look, the man is old. He's 88 years old.
Yeah, no,
and he's tired. He's done this.
I've also been tired
many times.
He's done this many times. It's a routine for him.
Yeah.
That to me is the unfortunate thing because it feels a little impersonal.
Yeah.
Look, I think also in the manner that it's done, like you explained, it's a very quick thing.
Yes.
If he gets too much into
It's like an
conversation,
assembly
some people don't have restraint. Some people don't have restraint. So they'll have a full-on conversation with the guy, and the guy's like, wait a minute, now I'm borrowing time.
I'm on an hour. You know, the whole photograph session for everyone. It was about an hour and a half, I think. Now remember, he's got to sit there in the same spot, in the same position for an hour and a half. So in his mind, he's like, let's get it.
We're literally doing the exact same thing now. We've been recording for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's hour and 35 minutes.
So that was really amazing. Then just wow, you guys, they had one of these whole rooms are massive, and they had one just for gaming.
Wow.
And they had setups with PCs where people were landing. They had.
Is that something that you need to pay extra for?
No. It was basically like it was demoing stuff.
Yeah.
Basically.
So like
it's not like Rage where you bring in your own.
No. That's something completely separate.
Okay, yeah. So it's
they were demoing.
We'll get on there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they had another whole room which was just tabletop games,
Mm.
but anything and everything you can think
Oh,
of.
like Magic.
Yes,
and-
yes,
Okay.
Catan and stuff like that, and things you haven't heard of either, you know. So this was
Did you buy any merchandise? Did you?
look. I did not budget for going this year.
It was
But you went
expensive.
anyway.
It kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but
I completely forgot about it.
I didn't want to go.
Now that you mentioned that, okay, I believe that it's not advertised enough. It's not advertised enough.
I'll also touch on that
Because
now,
it's something that we need. It's something that we should. People always look at South Africa and think of the gaming scene, the movie scene.
they don't really
They-
think about South Africa
Yeah,
like
at all.
that. They
Yeah,
think
they
about
don't.
it as, oh no, it's got the Kruger National Park. Cool.
But there are people that
Tell 'em
that
how.
have a passion for these things, and we also want to take part in these things. And I appreciate what Comic Con has done and brought it here. I think there should be more of a hype around it.
I feel like there
I-
needs to be advertising for it in the beginning.
I
of the year
didn't
already.
see. I didn't see any advertising for it. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right
But
places.
did you
I
at least
just
know about it? You
I knew about it,
Yeah.
but it was so
Subtle.
secret sort of that I missed it. I completely missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, look, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole event. So much so that I would start saving now for next year's one.
Yeah.
So that when the time comes, I just have the funds available to go
Is this stuff more when you? I mean, you've obviously looked at different stores with different merchandise when it comes to gaming or comic related or anything like that. And do you think it was like priced well, or did they
Look,
go more expensive because?
the prices were definitely inflated,
Okay.
and look,
Not all.
it's fair.
Which I
Look, no. Let me explain.
Okay.
It's fair because those vendors have paid a lot
to be
to
there.
be there.
True.
And at the same time, most people are going to buy something.
Mm.
I mean, because like I just overheard a guy saying he collects mugs, so he had to buy a mug from Comic Con, you know,
Cool.
just
Makes
for
sense.
example. But like the A4, sorry, not A4, A2 posters, for example,
Big boys.
were starting at like 120 rand,
Mm.
which is not
That's
expensive.
actually a bit reasonable.
But
like
they-
you said, starting.
In stores, you know, around here, they're usually about 70, 80,
Yeah.
something like that.
Depends on the poster.
So it depends on the poster, it depends on the store. Look, it goes without saying that the food was insanely expensive.
Yes,
And
it's
always
always
is.
an event.
And there was not enough.
And I'll also touch on that.
Oh really?
There was not enough food for everybody.
Well, now
Which
that-
is a good thing.
I feel
because
like
it means that
now
there's
they know.
more, which means
You
that
know
it's-
what? It just all it
it's
tells you
being
is
more
they
well.
undercompensated.
Well, now we know that next year they're gonna overcompensate.
That's great. That's
Wow, I did not mean
Look,
it that way.
if that means what I think it means, that means that obviously they did exceptionally well this year.
Mm.
They'll have a bigger budget for next year, so we could see
More food vendors.
more celebrities, and that's why a lot of people go as well.
Not wrong.
Was there you know, a lot of these events you get guys that take advantage of it and can be real hostile towards other people. But I mean, at a Comic Con, everyone is just neutral.
You know
Everyone's
what?
just enjoying each other's company.
It was like that, and I tell you something. There were so many people.
There wasn't
I
anyone
don't
looking
know.
down at other
No,
people and
no,
things
no.
like that.
Look, I mean, there were so many people. I can't tell you how many times I bumped into people by accident, and everybody's just cool with it. They're just like, "Don't worry,"
Yeah.
you know, or stepping
That's
on
cool. I
other
like
people.
that.
And it's like they realize, you know, we're just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And it was really crowded, and sometimes, I mean, there was a guy cosplaying as Iron Man,
I
Yeah.
saw-
And-
I saw that.
and he was just getting so much attention, and you know, literally people blocking the walkway to get photos with him.
Oh, awesome.
You know,
So he gets a bit of limelight as well. It's a good thing.
Oh,
It's awesome, but
the
the other people, shame.
you know, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's the second Comic Con we've had.
Yeah. Hopefully better and better.
It's going to get better and better. They're going
Also
to
next
learn.
year.
They're going to learn from it. What to do, what not to do. Maybe make the walkways a bit wider. Maybe not try and have so many stalls and vendors crammed into small spaces. But overall, 10 out of 10 experience. I mean, I don't even care that the air conditioning wasn't on in some places.
I would
It
care.
was-
I would care.
It was good enough. It was, man, the cosplayers.
I was going to
Okay,
ask.
so-
Okay.
My last question. We're gonna have to wrap this up. We're not gonna have time for.
It's fine.
But my last question to you, Stormcool, was: were there more female cosplayers? Because I've had a look at your feed, your social feed, and it seems that way. A lot more female
That was
cosplayers.
a lot of
male.
photos.
I would say it was about even,
Oh, okay.
actually.
They just dressed better for photos.
I tell you what though, there are people that put in amazing amounts of effort
Awesome.
into their costumes. You got the stormtrooper that
Yeah.
you could see his like backpack and stuff was made out of kitchenware that was spray painted. And then cool, yes, I love it. But then you saw the guy, you bought this suit off eBay or something.
Oh yeah, true.
And you put in a lot of money,
Yeah.
you know.
But then you also get those people where it was like full
You
eyes,
guys.
proper.
You guys, tons of Pennywise.
Oh
Cosplayers.
really? I can imagine.
So many Jokers. And lots of Spider-Mans.
So a lot of clowns.
Yeah. Lots of clowns. But guys, it
Talking about
was
Joker.
it was insane.
Oh,
Alright, so
that's
we're,
awesome.
we're definitely going to be at the next one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it also obviously depends on what time it is going to be next year. That's why I wasn't able to go this year because this weekend is rage.
Oh yeah.
He had his comic book expo. It's my time for the gaming expo. It's gonna be good. Gonna be a whole bunch of sweaty nerds all in one roof. I love it.
Awesome.
No, I mean geeks. Sorry. Yeah, so it's gonna be amazing. Land time.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us on this special episode. We did a couple of things different. We would like to hear your views. What did you think of it? Did you guys enjoy it? Please, will you let us know in the comments below. Also, please click the subscribe button
Which is
if you want
probably
to
gonna be
subscribe
over
to
there
this channel.
somewhere.
And also click on the notification button so
Also
you'll be
over there
notified.
somewhere.
And like this video if you enjoyed it. We would appreciate that. I have been Sen Washi.
Jonah.
I have been Storm Cool. Thank you for watching.
Later days.